Twitch.
Hi,
Hi, Brian.
Twitch. Hi, Brian.
I'll give you the Zoom link. Don't worry, it's coming.
Don't fret, baby boo. That Zoom link's coming.
For
Shoodly
you.
doo. That was better. Yours was better.
To a theater near you.
Yours was still better, but not as better as you.
All right.
Mine was the worst.
All right, let's get rolling with the next part of the show. And let me find the next part of the music. I think we're just going to use the same music because that's a good song.
Hey, go for it.
And once again, here comes Steve at ya. So hopefully...
Once again, the day is saved. Thanks to the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh,
dun,
no.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, here we go. Oh, wait, let me make a note of my Audacity before I forget, or else I definitely fucking will. Show...
The city of Townsville.
Please start soon.
Here we go.
Do you want a really easy way to get a hold of us? All you've got to do is go to infendo.com and you can see everything we're up to and get links to everywhere to find us.
All right, we're back. It's time to talk about some of the games we've been playing. Sometimes we talk about news and change the system, but I don't really think we are going to talk about news this week because I personally have been playing more games this week than I have in a long time. So that's pretty much all I want to talk about, quite honestly. Justin, we're going to let you go first because I think Lucas and my games are going to overlap slightly. So
There will be some overlap.
Yeah,
yes.
so why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
All right, well, we'll start off with the games that I have been playing. Let me just set that down. I've been playing Animal Crossing New Horizons and Red Dead Redemption. Moving on from there, I did want to, since we do typically talk about news during this section, did want to update some news that we discussed last week. I found out a little bit more information on the Game Gear Micro that's supposed to be coming out this fall. It is shite.
Yay!
So instead of releasing one unit that has 20 or so games on it, they're for 50, 60, 70 bucks. They're releasing
and watching it
4 units, each with 4 different games on them, each for $50.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
So that's gonna be a big, unless somebody figures out how to hack it.
That was so bad. Justin just turned Italian. That's gonna be a big.
Yeah, that's gonna be
a no from me.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big no for me. And unless somebody figures out how to hack these things so that you can put 20, 30, 50 games on it.
I don't even know still. Have you seen the images of those things? Like, literally, the screen is like an inch, like 1.1 inch or something. It's like a quarter size, man. Like, how are you going to play Sonic on a quarter?
That's the other thing. Like, at first I was like, well, if it's the size of the Game Boy Micro, that was actually a decent little pocket-sized unit.
It's smaller than that. Yeah.
It's smaller than the Game Boy Micro, which itself was just barely usable.
I guess Sega is proving that one needs practice when they want to just dive back into the console industry after 20 years of not doing anything with it.
Which
They've
is funny
forgotten how to
because
wake them.
Their Genesis mini console was good. I proudly have that set up next to my Super NES Classic. So, I thought that they would apply the same. I think they even tapped some of the same people who worked on the Super NES Classic. But yeah, I mean, they, in typical Sega fashion, they took a great idea and said, how can we make this worse, more expensive, and less convenient for the consumer? The pooch. Yeah, this is like they're totally 32xing this thing.
Oh my god, right?
But so I will be carefully watching the hacking scene on this, and if somebody figures out how to,
somebody's gonna hack that. Somebody's gonna hack it.
If there's enough room on that thing to put all the games that I want on it, I'll still end up buying one, hacking it, throwing the games I actually want on it, and
Right.
carrying that around with me. But
I feel like the odds of you not getting this with what you've just said are like almost 0%. Like someone will hack it, you will be able to put the games on it, and in like 6 months you will own this thing. But,
I also have a feeling though that 6 months after this thing releases, you're gonna see it just kind of like the PlayStation Classic or whatever they called it, like bargain bin, like I think that's where that's gonna be.
So maybe get it cheap.
I bought both my Genesis and PlayStation Classics at discounted prices, like $40 each. So,
and I think there's actually a market for this kind of stuff because there are people like me who grew up toward the end of like these systems being a thing. So like, I got a Game Boy when I was like 3 years old as a Christmas present. Thanks, Mom and Dad. But I never had like a Game Gear or anything like that. I never owned any of the Sega systems. So like, especially for the handhelds, like imagine being able to buy like a DS with all the games built into it, or a Game Gear with all the games built into it, or a Game Boy Advance, or whatever old system you want to talk about.
It seems
like
even
there's a
more
market there for that.
It seems even more practical than the mini consoles, honestly. Like I got for Christmas, I got my older son it was one of the Games one, but it was a portable Genesis. Again, it was by Games, so the emulation was crap, but he didn't, he was 5 years old, so
I was gonna say he doesn't know the difference.
And those were neat little systems. I mean, they had 6 buttons on them. You could add ROMs to an SD card and play off of that. So I gave him, a whole bunch of games that he would be interested in that weren't already installed. But it's funny, you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. They got the emulation down and the hardware down, but they're just gonna screw up the marketing of it anyway.
What I'm nervous about is when the N64 Mini comes out, because I'm gonna want that, because that was like I was 7 or 8 years old when the N64 was the thing. Like that was my first childhood system that was mine, not my dad's, right? But I really want to play the N64 games on my Switch. So it's like, am I going to get this thing for like $50 and have some games that I have to plug into a TV? Or am I going to wait and trust for Nintendo to start releasing N64 games in another like 8 months? Like what's the, what does Lucas do? What is the answer
I will
to
be
this
doing
conundrum?
both, because even though I can play a lot of these games on the Switch, I still love having the mini consoles.
Yeah, see, I just know that if I get like the N64 Mini and then the N64 like eShop, as it were, comes out, the virtual console, I'm never gonna touch the Mini like ever, and then it's just a waste of $50. So I think I have to wait, and it's gonna happen, right? There's gonna be a virtual console for the N64. There has to
God,
be.
I hope so. So.
We'll see. That said, maybe buy 2 so I can buy one off of you if they become incredibly rare.
Shoot. Well,
But,
I
yeah,
guess that's
so
a good place to change into the games you've been playing, Justin. Have you been playing anything besides your 2 aforementioned games?
Not yet, although there are some pretty sweet deals going on in the eShop right now. Last night, I bought the Dragon's Lair trilogy, which is a collection of Dragon's Lair 2, and Space Ace.
Those were those ones that were like decision games, right? Like
yeah, they were
Telltale
like
games,
the
or
Don
Telltale
Bluth
games.
animated full motion video, Laserdisc based. Basically, you watch 5 seconds of a movie and press a button to, continue. So I'm excited to finally, play through those. I've played them a bit, but I've never actually, gotten anywhere in them because I've never owned them long enough to memorize the patterns.
Mhm.
But so I'll probably be giving that a try soon. Besides that, I don't think I played some Super Mario Party with my kids. With my older son anyway, last week. So that was nice to finally get to play that again.
Sure.
and I have a new system or a new game on my Xbox One that I haven't even booted up. It's been on there for a few weeks, but I ain't touching nothing until I'm done with the Red Dead Redemption saga. So
in another month, I guess we'll hear from some new games from you.
well, I
Oh
think
no,
I'm about
it's going to
a
be
third.
more than a month.
Oh no, I'm already a third of the way through Red Dead Redemption 1.
Oh wow.
So
are you planning on doing Red Dead Revolver?
Revolver?
I do want to play that. It has no like story ties to the other two games, other than like, they'll make casual references to it in the other games. Like I know if you sit at a campfire in Red Dead Redemption 1, every once in a while the people will talk about, the character from Red Dead Revolver and basically tell his story. But besides that, there's no tie to them. I do want to play it. I do have it. I played a little bit of it. Never played it all the way through. So I will do that, but that'll be kind of a, back burner game. The game I did get was crap. I don't remember the name of it. It's one of the open world space games. Event something or other.
Are you talking about Outer Worlds?
No. This is like a space. It's similar to like a No Man's Sky sort of game, but it's a little more action oriented. Is it Event Horizon?
I don't know, I'm just throwing stuff out
Tell
there.
us.
Anyway, I have that. I haven't played it yet. It was on my radar from a video I watched of best open world games, and it was on sale, so I bought it. So I'll be looking into that when I'm done with Red Dead again. But yeah, it's pretty much been Red Dead and Animal Crossing for the past week. So
fair. Well, it's not Event Horizon because I just looked it up, and that's the bad 1997 movie.
yeah, I didn't think that was it. Maybe Horizon. No, I don't know. I'll find the name of it somewhere.
I'm sure we can find that name and discuss it when you're actually playing.
Sure. Well, speaking of what you're playing, Lucas, I know you've been pining at the heels. Tell us what you've been playing. So tell me.
Yeah, I've been playing some games this week. Yeah. I've been playing a lot of games this week, but I know the first one we have is going to kind of bleed through. So let's get that out of the way first. Bug Fables is good.
Elite Dangerous.
Gotcha.
That's the name of it.
Elite Dangerous.
Thanks for not interrupting the show with that game title. No, Bug
Fables is good.
Bug Fables is really good.
You guys are really enticing me on this one.
It's so good. I get it, man. Get it.
I finally have my Switch game that I've always been pining for. That one where it's like I want a reason to look back on the Switch and say that was the game that sold old Lukey. It's Bug Fables. Oh, it's good. It is Paper Mario. It's a Paper Mario game, right?
It's unashamedly Paper Mario as well. Yeah, that's kind of what I like about it.
It doesn't try to hide it. It really doesn't try to do much different. There are a few differences. There's mechanics, but nothing that you wouldn't expect in like a future Paper Mario game. Like you can pass your turn to another ally that you're fighting with, so that ally can get 2 turns. But the trade-off for that is that they deal 1 less attack. The attacker in the front deals more damage. The person in the back takes less damage. So there's some strategy to it. But it's got all the staples of a Paper Mario game, from the writing to the visuals to like the badge system, the way the attacks work, the timed hits. Even the timed hits that you do are like the exact same formula from other characters, right? Like V, the bee, the attack that she does where it's like it lights up the meters and you have to press the meters, and that's like straight out of Thousand Year Door. Yeah, and it's just so good. It feels like what they worked on in between Paper Mario and Paper Mario.
I'll tell you, I was a little bit unsure at first about it because I was like, okay, it very much is just Paper Mario. But then when I got to, and this is very early on, I got to an enemy where I had to use, and I forget the Beatles name, but I had to use the Beatles attack to like flip. Yep, to flip the enemy before I attacked it.
So then you could attack it with V because V can't flip enemies. And V can attack airborne enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I'm all in. I was all in.
And now's the part where you're listening to the show, Mr. Longtime Listener, because let's be real, we don't have any women who listen to this show yet that we're aware of. Comment in our Twitch stream and let us know. But no, now's the part where if you listen to the show for a long time, you go, well, you're the same guy who badmouthed Oceanhorn for being a Legend of Zelda knockoff. Why the sudden love for Bug Fables? And I will tell you that while, yes, this game is a shameless knockoff of Paper Mario, the difference here is that Oceanhorn is knocking off a series that is still running strong and making game after game after game. Bug Fables is picking up the slack for a company that hasn't made a decent version of its game in like 16 years. Like, I was hungry for this, man, and it feels so good.
Yeah,
like childhood, I'm weirdly nostalgic for this game that I've never played before. I love it. So I'm so happy.
I'm so far in love with this game that I ended up putting it down after about 5 hours because I was afraid that I was going to beat it too fast. You know, that's where I am at with this type of game. You know, I just, oh God,
apparently
it's so good.
it's a pretty lengthy game. So.
Yeah, it's like 25 to 40 hours, they say. But this game it has become like an inspiration source for me when it's like a long weekend and I'm working on my game over and over again. But it gets tiring, right? And I need to take breaks. So like mentally, just all of that like problem solving is exhausting. So I'll switch on Bug Fables for an hour and I'll play that. And it's like a cleanse. Like I play it and it's like having a salad in between a few meals. Like all of a sudden I'm just refreshed and I'm ready to work again. And I have all these new ideas for stuff I want to put in my game because like Paper Mario has been such a huge source of inspiration for me that playing this game is reminding me of all of like the best parts of that gameplay. So I love this game, man. It's real good.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know if you already mentioned this, but you said to me privately, you're like, this very well could be your game of the year, you know, like that's how much you're loving it. So.
I expect it to be unless something else really good comes out. If I had to raise a complaint, and I'm nitpicking at this point, but if I had to raise a complaint, I think my biggest complaint would be the environments are a little boring so far. I'm excited to see what the Bee Kingdom looks like. That's where I'm headed now that I've done the first 2 dungeons. Mm-hmm. But the first area, I like Bulgaria, the town. It's cute. Yeah. The first dungeon was basically just a cave, so that was kind of boring. The second area is, and I don't want to like spoil you here, but the second area is called like the Golden Hills or the Golden Plains or something, and it's just kind of like a summery, mild, autumny kind of like plain area with a couple of mountains and cliffs and stuff to explore. Nothing as memorable as like the dry desert or the Boo Mansion from Paper Mario or Shy Guy's Toy Box.
But Shy Guy's Toy Box was one of my favorites.
I'm curious to see how that. Yeah. But I'm curious to see how it changes as it goes. It's got like side quests, and those are hilarious. I was telling you about one I did where there's one where you have to rent a night at the inn and leave a review. There's one where you enter like to be part of like an actors group, and you have to like go up on stage and battle as part of the performance.
Right.
It's really well done.
Yeah, I'm enjoying my time with this game as well. Like, I'm going to cut in here and just talk about my experience with it just a bit.
Please do, because after that, I'm just going to talk about my other games because I can't gush anymore.
Fair.
You get the idea.
Yeah, I am having a really great time with this game as well. Like you said, I'm just getting the best Paper Mario vibes out of this game in all of the best ways. Like, the attacks just feel right. Like, even you can block incoming attacks just like you could in, Paper Mario, that type of thing. So I would say, though, that the thing that's keeping me around in this game more than anything else, more than the gameplay mechanics, the art style, anything else, is the humor. Because I am just enjoying the hell out of, like, the bug puns and everything that are just all throughout. You talk to every character and there's something like, bug punny in what they're saying or their name or, whatever.
and the designs, right? Like
Yeah.
there's all these different races of bugs, like roaches and moths and mosquitoes and ladybugs. And,
yeah, right.
Like the ladybugs are wearing like cloaks that have ladybug patterns on them. The moths are all like slender and beautiful, and they've got these like long robes. It's just, yeah, it's really
Yeah, no,
cool.
I love this game so much that I'm starting to like role play it a little bit. Like I wish that maybe that is one gripe. I wish I could like rename what my character or rename my party or whatever. So I've started calling
Like
my
in a regular RPG.
Yeah, right. And I don't know if I get a regular ant, but I call the dude with a horn. His name is Anton. I feel like he's a black guy, and I feel like he should be an ant. But if I do get an ant in my party, then his name will be Anton, and then I'm gonna have to come up with another name for horn dude. But dude, like it's just so good. It just everything about this game feels really good, except for the fact that it's not made by Nintendo, right? Like it feels like this should have Mario characters in it, and that's fine. Like I'm gonna grow to love V and everybody else, but
I think that's where we are though, right? And I kind of talked about this last time. Like the guys who did like the original stuff for Nintendo, I think a lot of them have moved on, and it's nice to see that there are games that kind of replace what's been missing, I think, for so long.
Sure.
And speaking of replacing what's been missing, I have a transition to another game. If we were done talking about
hit it.
Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is a game
that is not the transition
Steve
I was
played.
expecting you to go to.
I really need to play more of that game.
So, I've been watching a lot of a YouTube channel that I just discovered, Cat Icarus, who I have very much been enjoying. Proper British chap who just comes out and goes nuts for 30 to 40 minutes talking about video games.
As you do.
I've watched a lot of his reviews, and it's gotten me into a lot of games. Like, well, I'll talk more about that one in a second. But Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is a game that I kind of didn't give much attention to when it first came out, because it looked very Tropical Freeze, and Donkey Kong Country Returns and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze are good, but they're not Donkey Kong Country. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair isn't Donkey Kong Country either, but it's a lot closer in a lot of important ways. It's still very beautiful. The music is fantastic, but it trades some of that performance art that the Donkey Kong Country Returns games had for performance. So it plays and it feels a lot more like a traditional Donkey Kong Country. You start out as Yuka and Laylee, and if you take a point of damage, Laylee will fly off of you and fly around in circles, kind of like Baby Mario and Yoshi's Island, and you have a few seconds to grab her back. If you don't grab her back, then you're just playing as Yuka until you find a bell that you ring, which is basically a barrel, to bring Laylee back to you. So it has a lot of that Donkey Kong Country vibe where it's like, okay, I've got two characters, I've got that locked hit that I can survive, but a lot of people were going nuts about the overworld and being able to explore it. I don't really like it. I don't really care for it. But once you get in and you actually play the gameplay, it's traditional Donkey Kong Country hard, and I would say traditional Donkey Kong Country good. The coolest thing about the game, though, is it has this gimmick, the Impossible Lair, that you can access right at the beginning of the game. I'm sure you guys have heard about this before, but it's a very hard level to get through. It's like a 30-minute gauntlet of just imagine Donkey Kong Country for that long. My record right now is 10% completion, but every time you beat a level or find a secret, you get a B guard that protects you from one hit of damage. So when you go back to the Impossible Lair, you can enter it with those B guards if you so choose, and eventually reach the final boss and beat the game. So it does kind of
Somebody compared it to like Hyrule Castle and Breath of the Wild.
I was literally just going to say it does a Breath of the Wild where you can finish the game as early as you like if you're skilled enough, but so very interesting gameplay mechanic. I think it's really cool. The perfectionist gamer in me really wants to try the run where you don't have any guards to protect you, but cool game. I recommend it.
I'm gonna have to try that one out, because I remember when it first came out, Steve got it or somebody got it, and
Steve wasn't as big of a fan.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, we didn't talk.
I
much
got
about
it, and I've enjoyed what I've played of it, but it's kind of one of those, I have so many games, it's lost in the
Sure.
shuffle.
Well, and it's a game that you have to kind of commit to, right? Because like I'll go on and I'll play a couple of levels after work, but it's like this is going to be a little taxing. Like this is not a fun, relaxing way to chill. This is like, okay, here we go.
That's like
Right.
Cuphead for me. Like, if I sit
yeah.
down to play Cuphead, I'm playing it for 30 to 60 minutes, and that's just one level.
I will PSA. It's on sale if you owned Ukulele on the Switch, so you can get it a little cheaper. If you own one, you get the other one a little bit cheaper. But that's that. I have other games to talk about, and I don't want the segment to go too long, so let me kind of rush through these a little bit. But I have been playing quite a few games. One of those being Crash Team Racing, which is a game that I started playing with Steve a long time ago. Then about a month in, they announced that there were going to be microtransactions, and they kind of screwed over their entire audience, and we all kind of lost interest in it. But I've gone back to it and wanted to check out some of the new stuff that's in it. Guys, it is like old school kart racing in like all the right ways.
Don't say Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong Racing, because
It's very much a
that's
Diddy
gonna
Kong
make
Racing
me-
kind of game.
Ah,
It feels like this missing piece of a Triforce that I didn't know was there of Diddy Kong Racing, Mario Kart 64, and Crash
Diddy
Team
Crash,
Racing.
Sure.
There's all these, like, there's a hub world to explore, a very small hub world, not quite Diddy Kong Racing style, but there's this hub world with all these different areas that bring you to different levels. There's coin challenges, there's timed challenges to complete in the story mode. There are literal hidden Easter eggs that if you get all 5 of them, you can play as a chicken. I'm working on one right now where if you break the secret crate in every level, you get to play as a crate.
Oh,
There's
God.
a character, a penguin, you can only unlock with a cheat code. And there's like 50 playable characters. Now, unfortunately, they are all hidden behind paywalls that can be completely opened up by playing the game yourself. About like 10 races online, and you're good to unlock another character. But the unlock ability of a character changes daily because there are also microtransactions, and you can
Oh,
just
wait,
choose
wait,
to pay
wait, wait.
for all your
So
stuff.
you can't unlock like every character every day? It's like shuffles?
You can unlock a character as often as you have coins for, but it's random which one you're well, you know which one you're buying, but which one shows up in the shop is random.
Oh,
Because
no. I did not like
it's
that.
really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. If you can get around the shady business aspect of it, the core game is so good. So
Mhm.
I would recommend it with a word of warning. And
I wonder if I
yeah.
could find that game like a cartridge version of it, and then like not download the update or whatever. Because you said that the microtransaction came after the fact, right?
They did, yeah, that is a thing. Although you probably have to be online to play it because it's an
Probably.
Activision game, so they
Yeah.
probably force no, you can play offline, but I think it like auto logs you. It'd be rough. You could try it and see, but yeah, it's just
I
I
it's.
mean,
So-
I'm
it's
sure
stuff
if
like
you
that
disconnected from the internet, it would still let you boot up and play the game, but you'd have to do that every time.
Well, and that's the problem, though, right? Because this was a really good game, and the controversy behind it was there were no microtransactions when it launched. They still had the store model, and you could still use the coins to buy specific items in a store that changed daily, right? But yeah, they added it after the fact, after everybody had already given positive reviews, and it was shady and it was kind of nasty. It really wasn't a good
Feels
move on their
gross.
part. So yeah, it is gross, and it makes me trust Activision a lot less as a as a customer. But
It's
all
kinda
that
how
said,
kind of how I feel about what they've done with Mortal Kombat and how they've
It's
microtransactioned the crap out of that.
it's
franchise.
exactly the same as Mortal Kombat. All that aside, if you can look past the scummy surface, there's a lot of good underneath it. So I would recommend it, but just know what you're getting into. Don't play it if you're like addicted to spending money. And the last game I want to talk about real quick is Minecraft Dungeons, basically Diablo, but cute and not as hard. Steve and I have been playing that late at night when we have nothing to do but toss and turn. It's fun. It's a really fun game. Much more fun with other players.
Sure.
Would not be nearly as much fun if we didn't have each other to play it, but it's fun enough that I kind of want to try Diablo now. And I have
you
no
should.
interest in Diablo. Yeah, I had no interest in it before this game because Like I like the cutesy and the cartoony stuff, right? And Diablo's really like demons in head. But like, I don't know. I like the gameplay, so I have a feeling I'd like Diablo too, because it's just like more complicated Minecraft dungeons. So, and that's about it from me. So Eugene, please take us home.
All right, well then I guess it's time to talk about the game. Well, we talked about one of the games I've been playing. So Bug Fables, great game. Already talked about it. Don't need to say anything more than that. Probably have more to say about it, later on. But the game that I do want to talk about is Clubhouse Games, because that came out last week. I was not expecting to get it, actually, but I did, and it's really, 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 really fun. So we bought it, and we were just kind of looking in the eShop, and Heather and we decided to get it on a whim because, you can actually download an additional app on a second Switch to play many of the games, with two Switches. So, we were playing cards together, like we were playing spades, like all kinds of fun stuff. There's there's even like bowling that you can play. Like it's really fun. I have to say that it's bringing back a lot of memories of Clubhouse Games on the DS, because I had a lot of fun with that as well. If you're just looking for a good time, Clubhouse Games is the way to go. It's got a lot of just like your basic standard card games, a lot of board games that you're used to, like Parcheesi is in there. It's not called Parcheesi, but basically Parcheesi. There's Yahtzees in there. I think that one's called like Yacht Dice or something like that. But all of the old standbys are in there. It's so fun, guys. I would say though that if you don't have anybody to play with, probably don't get it, because I don't know that I would have fun.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have fun playing this by myself necessarily, but when I could bust out my Switch and just put it on the bed while we're watching TV in the background and playing Yacht Dice, it's fun, right? Because we can be half paying attention, and then it has touchscreen controls as well, right? So I could just roll my dice and okay, I want to put my numbers here, and it's a good time. I like it a lot. So yeah, that is Clubhouse Games. It does have online play.
Guessing. I was just gonna ask that.
It does have online play. I haven't tried that yet, but apparently it works really well. So you can play online with with randoms or with your friends type of thing. So I think with randoms, actually. I guess I'm not 100% sure on that one. But yeah, that's Clubhouse Games. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. And that's really all I've been playing, honestly. So I don't think you guys want to hear me talking about Pokemon Go any longer. If you want to see my shinies, I can show you. But other than that, I would think it's time to take a little break, and we'll be back on the other side with the question block.
I